the former Packer GM and longtime administrator here with the Raider franchise, as the Raiders take the field for a showdown with Green Bay. Let's check in with JT.
Thank you, Beth. I talked to Raiders defensive coordinator Paul Gunther before the game. Tonight will be a mix and match of young rookies and veterans on defense, and not only is roster spots up in the air, starting spots are up in the air. So even though Aaron Rodgers isn't going to start tonight, expect this Raider defense to fly around. Several players have a lot to prove. Back to you.
Yeah, this is a big night, game 3 of the preseason. And then next Thursday, they'll finish things up in Seattle, and then it's on to the regular season and that opening Monday night matchup with the Los Angeles Rams. We're going to get a look at Dwayne Harris, the deep man here, as Derek Carr readies himself. Oakland will receive, and Carr and company will get set to take the field. Harris is a guy that, from top to bottom on this coaching staff, they rave about his ability to play special teams. In fact, John Gruden says it's a privilege to watch this guy work on this unit.
Well, Beth, Matt's always talking about versatility, right? We know he's a terrific returner, not only in terms of the kickoff, but also punt returner. He's a great gunner on the punt coverage team, the kickoff units, and he can also play wide receiver, and that's a good reason why you know for sure that Dwayne Harris is going to be part of that 53.
Yeah, the piece that I like about him, he's got toughness. And I think you have to put as many tough people on your team as possible. Guys who really love to play and aren't afraid to throw their bodies around, he's one of them.
Well, he's a big reason why they might be considering 6, possibly 7 receivers on that final 53-man unit. And Harris, as we pump him up, he'll have to take a knee, and the Raiders will start out with Derek Carr at quarterback as he gets set to start his 5th year now as the Raiders QB. His career touchdown to interception ratio, 4th best in NFL history.
That's pretty good, especially when you consider...
There is no foul on the play. Oakland's ball, 1st and 10 at the 25.
Especially when you consider, Beth, he's had a number of different play callers in his short career. But I don't know about the both of you, but I'm excited because we're going to get a chance to see some starters play tonight. Last week they sat 32 players, most of them starters. So I'm anxious to see some starters get some valuable reps here in the preseason.
Cooper and Nelson at wideout. Marshawn Lynch is the tailback, and it is that starting offensive line alongside Lee Smith. And it features Colton Miller at left tackle and Donald Penn at right tackle. Our first look publicly at that group. And the deep ball, Cooper able to haul it in down at the 35-yard line. Amari says he wasn't down. There was no whistle, and he'll pick up some extra yardage.
Well, he landed on top of the defender, which you would think that he would, unless he didn't touch, unless he wasn't down when he went. Yeah, well, so when he got, go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, well, when you have a back in there like Marshawn Lynch, it gets your attention. You see the play action, he gets the freeze in the linebackers, and Amari Cooper is just wide open. That's a good catch there.
No, I think you might be right. I don't think his knee touched.
Give him 49 yards on that catch, down to the 26-yard line. And Carr will work out of the gun with Lynch offset. 2 tight ends for the Raiders. They show Cook in the slot, and the pass batted away incomplete. Was that a pass intended for Lee Smith? You don't see that every day as we check out the starting offensive unit, and it could be one of the best in the business if Colton Miller ends up being the guy at left tackle.
Yeah, one of the things you're going to see, though, with Colton Miller going to that left side is the right side, which I'm anxious to watch tonight, and that's with Donald Penn, number 72. This is the first time he's had any action, and he's coming off of a pretty serious foot injury.
Out of the I formation, Doug Martin, the free agent pickup from the Tampa Bay Bucks, and Doug will get the call running behind Keith Smith for a couple of yards. Reggie Gilbert with the tackle. Here is the starting unit for Detroit. Wilkerson, Clark, and Adams. That may be a look at what they will look like on opening day. Oren Burks was expected to be one of their starting inside linebackers. He got hurt pregame tonight, and we'll keep an eye on him. Clinton Dix, one of the best in the business at safety. Seth Roberts is out there now for the Raiders, number 10 in the silver and black, slotted to the top. There's a guy that's involved in a fight for a job. He's been there for the Raiders the last couple of years. This is Jared Cook, the tight end, down to the 5-yard line for 1st and goal.
A really nice job stepping up in the pocket. You look at this relationship between quarterback and tight end. There's a real comfort level there. I think when you talk to Derek Carr about Jared Cook, he runs routes, Matt, like a wide receiver.
Yeah, and he did a nice job of getting the defender on his inside hip with the safety sitting over the top, so you know you're going to take the outside. They saw it right away, and they went right to him. Cook does a nice job with that route.
Raiders are in the Toyota red zone. Toyota, let's go places. 19 yards on that strike. Carr to Cook. Jared is the motion man. It's back to Doug Martin, stymied at the line of scrimmage. May have gotten down to the 3, ran into Kenny Clark.
What did Coach Gruden tell us this afternoon? He said he wants to get Doug Martin 2 carries in a row, so he just got a 2nd carry. And you know, I think it's important for these veteran players who have not played much in the preseason to get a little bit of a lather, to get some work.
You better
Matt.
believe it. I'm not a big fan of the schedule they have right now with the preseason. And I think last week I don't think Coach Gruden was very happy with it either. You know, you're going to play them in the opening game. You need to get guys out there and get reps.
Single setback now for Doug. They bunch the receivers to the right. Martin lowers his head, may have gotten the 2. It's going to bring up 3rd down.
28, Doug Martin.
Of course, Doug expected to be a really good complement to Marshawn Lynch in the backfield this year. Has a couple of 1,000-yard rushing seasons under his belt, but the numbers were down the last couple of years. Doug looking to get back into bigger numbers this year.
A wonderful opportunity for him out here in Oakland. This is an offense, I think, that really fits his skill set.
Driving down into the black hole, Derek Carr trying to quiet things down. Ball is down, and Carr will fall on it back at the 15-yard line. The push coming right up the middle, led by Reggie Gilbert. And it's 4th down.
This is one of the problems when you're not playing a lot of football. You look at some of the penetration and push up inside. Matt, you were talking about Donald Penn, that right foot surgery. He's moved from the left side to the right side. He just gets walked right back into the quarterback.
Yeah.
And there's going to be more stress and weight on his inside foot. I talked to Pro Bowl left tackle Lincoln Kennedy, a longtime Raider great. He said that's going to be the challenge for him, but also his hand placement.
That's a big
going
deal.
From the left side to the right side.
Mike Nugent still handling the kicking duties for the Raiders, and he hits it from 32 yards out. The Raiders put points up, but a little frustration that it's not a 7 spot. Early lead for Oakland. For 368 yards on the drive as the Raiders went 61 yards to put some points up. Last week, remember, in the first half against the Rams, only 1 first down. They had a couple of first downs on that drive alone.
I also remember they didn't play.
That's a good point, Matt.
This is Ty Montgomery, who starred across the bay at Stanford. Flags are flying as Montgomery goes down around the 17. Markel Lee had the coverage. Markel has made some big strides under the direction of Gruden and Paul Gunther and this defensive coaching staff, and making plays on special teams as well. Maybe the starting middle backer this year.
Offside, kicking team, number 30. During the return, holding, receiving team, number 93. Those penalties offset. We'll re-kick.
There's nothing worse
than running all the way down?
down again. Rich, you ever run down on kickoff?
Matt, why do you have to offend me like that? You know I didn't do that dirty work. But
Well,
I know
sometime in your career, like in high
yeah,
school.
when I was like
did
Pop
you-
Warner, I think
Okay.
I ran down and covered. But I can remember.
He encouraged you guys.
No, I can remember literally this happening, and veteran guys like yelling at the rookie who jumped off sides, like, I just
yeah.
ran down 50 yards, and now you're going to make me do it again?
That's about a total of 80 yards full speed, and then you got to take somebody on and get rid of them, and then you got to go make the tackle, and you got to run, and then you run back, and you have to look like you're not
And
tired.
you're gassed.
And remember, too, now this is the new kickoff rule, right? You used to
Right.
get a 5-yard running start, and Jalen Richard must have been leaning a little bit.
That's all it takes. You know,
Yeah.
they all line up on that 34-yard line, and it's hard if you're not next to the kicker. And so you wind up leaning in a little bit. If your head or any part of your body goes over that 35-yard line prior to the kick, it is a penalty.
It must be a pain in the rear for the guys at the end to see.
They can't see. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You're trying to look in, Matt, but it's hard, you know. And so, you know, I talked to the special teams coordinator, Rich Masacci, about this, and we just got to adjust on the fly as we try and figure this out.
Good kick.
No flags that time. Montgomery will get a running start at it. Bobbled it. And he will not get back out to the 20, down to the 19, and 14 yards on the return. Aaron Rodgers will not be suiting up tonight for the Packers, so they will go with Brett Hundley, the fourth-year man out of UCLA, who had 9 starts a year ago when Aaron Rodgers was out with his injury.
He struggled, Beth. He was 3-6. The Packers were 4-3 with Rodgers, 3-6 with Hundley, and they were disappointed with really his performance and production last year. Didn't play as well as they anticipated, particularly for a guy who's been in that system a couple of years.
Rodgers missed 7 games with the collarbone injury, so the Packers brought in Deshaun Kaiser in a trade with Cleveland. That was Tank Carradine right there with the stop on Montgomery.
Yeah, whirling right there, too. You can see the offensive line, it's not the usual, so it's a second-team offensive line going against a first-team defensive front, who you'd expect that the Raiders would handle this front. Now, when they have their backs and receivers, that's a pretty good group, but it's still going to come down to the quarterback. It was nice by the corner there coming up and getting a good hit on that. Whirling.
Some first-unit guys in there at the linebacker position and in the secondary. Jelly Ellis with a nice push up the middle, and the pass completed to Montgomery, and there's Derek Johnson, the free agent pickup in the middle from Kansas City with the hit. Arden Key is a guy they're going to be watching closely tonight, as is Tank Carradine. John Gruden specifically mentioned a lot of defensive linemen in a battle right now for a roster spot. Those are all new guys at the linebacker position. And it's Melvin Gilchrist, Eric Harris, and Worley getting the start tonight in the secondary.
Watch the right defensive end. He's standing up right now. It's a rookie, Arden Key, number 99.
3rd down and 9. 6 guys along the front for the Raiders. They'll rush 4. Hundley is able to step up, and a flag flies. The catch is made by Geronimo Allison. This may be offensive.
Now it's going against a defense. You're going to call a hold.
Gain of 9 to move the chains.
Holding. Defense. Number 22. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Watch Rashawn Melvin. Nice. Hey, look, he's in great position.
Oh, right there.
Right there is what they're going to call. And they're going to call that top arm, not the inside arm. Because the official was on the sideline, and that's exactly what he saw. Well, I like the way these corners have been covering, though.
They've been better, Matt. They're being a little more physical. They're doing a good job using their hands and really disrupting these receivers to the line of scrimmage.
Keeping it on the ground for a few. Tank Carradine with the tackle. Darian Conley was also in the mix.
As was Leon Hall. So all these times that we're talking about corners getting in on tackles. And there's a lot of times they want nothing to do with it. But Leon Hall's a guy who's been around a long time for a reason. And one of the reasons is he's a good tackler. He can play the slot, he can play outside. He's really a slot guy right now, but playing well.
All goes to the top of your screen, the slot alongside Melvin.
It's a different world in here, too. I mean, things happen quicker in the slot.
Hundley looking deep down the sideline. It's caught, knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line by Marcus Gilchrist.
It happened at the line of scrimmage.
Got by Melvin, Matt. That was Allison.
Yeah, he lost his footing in the middle of that route. You're going to see how you can't really see it. It would be to the far left. Anyway, he lost his footing and then got on top of him. Nice job at Gilchrist here. See right here?
Yep, there it is, Matt. He goes right by him.
It's amazing you make one mistake, they see it. I hate you quarterbacks.
Pressure coming up the middle for Oakland. And it's Eric Harris trying to corral the running back down inside the 30-yard line goes Montgomery.
People may be asking why Ty Montgomery's wearing 88. He was a return specialist and a receiver initially when he joined the Packers, and they needed help at the running back position. A couple seasons ago, he came in and played, and actually played pretty well. Although last year he struggled with some injuries. Really, that group as a whole, I just don't know that there's enough depth right now when you look at that running back group for the Green Bay Packers.
And they're looking at Montgomery, Jamal Williams, Aaron Jones would be the top 3 guys right now. On the rollout for Hundley, and the strike forward progress could give Moore the first down.
Nice throw on the run. Good job of play calling right here. Just run the football and then using the play action off of it.
And Hundley is a guy that they can move outside the pocket. Very athletic. He throws the ball well in the move. I don't want to compare him to Aaron Rodgers. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying he has the ability to make plays with his legs outside the pocket.
Yeah, he's just been inconsistent a little bit. Yep.
Pick up 9 more on that play.
Boy, the decision-making, Matt, and the turnovers have hurt Hundley in those games that he played last year in Aaron Rodgers' absence.
Hundley, pressure coming right up the middle and into the end zone, incomplete. Lance Kendricks should have hauled that in.
Had it in his hands. It would be a tough catch. It was kind of a little bit on the back side of him, but he did a nice job of losing his coverage. And the reason he loses his coverage, they come with a blitz, they're in man. And the reason he loses coverage is because the defender puts his eyes in the backfield instead of looking at the guy he's supposed to be covered. That's Tahir Whitehead.
Ooh. Hit him in a bad spot, Matt. Yeah. Right in the hands.
Right in the hands, yeah. 9th play of the drive right here for the Packers. Started back on their own 19-yard line.
A lot like John Gruden. Mike McCarthy, the head coach, is also the play caller.
Yep.
The 2 of the best in the business.
Out of the eye and
Great
short
defense.
yardage,
Nice.
and the push was there. Tank Carradine leading the way. The free agent pickups from San Francisco, a loss of 1.
Markel Lee in the middle of that thing as well, and I also think I saw a 20 down there in the bottom. It could have been Harris, or let's take a good look at it. Yeah, here he comes. That's Harris. Yep. That's a really nice job. Eric Harris does a great job of coming down and filling. You look, you don't have to always make the tackle, but he made the play.
They're going to go for it here on 4th and 2.
Got to jump your coverage right away. You watch for picks.
And Mike McCarthy trotting down the sideline to get the timeout on the far side.
First charge timeout, Green Bay.
We'll take the timeout with them. A 4th down coming up for the Packers. They trail by 3.
You're witnessing something very special. A medley of exhilaration, joy, and satisfaction experienced only at the Honda Summer Spectacular event. Getting a deal on the Honda CR-V with a standard rear-view camera is as delightful as it looks. But don't just witness this, my friends. Experience these great deals for yourself.
Exciting, I know.
Visit your local Honda dealer and test drive the Honda CR-V, Motor Trend's 2018 SUV of the Year.
Well, Green Bay is going to pass here on the 37-yard field goal attempt, and they'll go for it on 4th and 2 from the Raider 19-yard line.
Rich, I like what they've done here. Paul Gunther, the D coordinator, all 4 young defensive linemen down, so he's put a lot of trust into young players.
Got to find out about them early, Matt, see what they're capable of doing.
Hey, watch the quarterback draw right here. Nope.
And movement on the right side of the line.
Now they kick the field.
Yep, now you got it.
False start. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That's Byron Bell, and that'll get the kicker on.
That's a free agent addition in the offseason. You just see the early jump.
Yep.
That's a big mistake in that part of the field.
And he's across a guy who gets a great start. It's Mo Hurst. Both those guys, P.J. Hall and Mo Hurst, their first 2 steps are pretty darn good.
So now it's a 42-yard kick. Mason Crosby out of the hold of J.K. Scott, the rookie punter out of Alabama.
These kickers hate this dirt infield.
Crosby's boot on its way, and it is good. So both sides get into the red zone on their first possession, and both have to settle for a field goal. Raiders and Packers preseason action from the Coliseum in a 3-3 game.
Take the field.
Are you looking for a ring? 'Cause I got what I want. Are you looking for a ring? 'Cause I got what I need. I got what I want.
Well, before he won a Super Bowl in Tampa and before he was the head coach here in Oakland, the Green Bay Packers, one of the stops along the way for John Gruden, an assistant from 1992 to 1994, back in his early days coaching in the NFL, and of course one of his mentors, Mike Holmgren, during his time there.
Of course, I was with Mike Holmgren, and John Gruden was over in San Francisco.
Yeah.
When I was playing for the 49ers, and Gruden would come down and watch tape with me. I'd get there and stay late, and I'd get there early. Guy never slept. I was like,
he still doesn't.
Dwayne Harris, a chance to bring it out for the Raiders, and a good shot at being their return man during the regular season. He'll bring it out across midfield, but there is a flag back inside the 20 for the Raiders. 58 yards on the return.
During the return, holding, return team, number 58, 10-yard penalty, first down.
They're going to call that on Kyle Wilbur to nullify the return.
but this is what you're looking for in a returner. Like just you got to run with your eyes. I didn't see the hold there. Did you see it anywhere, Rich?
I didn't see it, but
I see Wilbur running along behind, but
that's one of the players that John Gruden signaled out to us this morning as a guy that's had a terrific camp. And he's really going to be probably make this team because of his play and performance in the kicking game. In fact, he was the special teams captain at the coin toss before the game. We're looking for 8 core players. That's Rich Bisaccia, the special teams coordinator, always say looking for the core 8 guys that are going to contribute in all 4 phases of the kicking game.
Connor Cook is now in at quarterback. Roll out off the play action, and he connects with Martavis Bryant, and a first down for Oakland.
I like that concept, Richard, those levels. You get deep, middle, and underneath, and then your quarterback's read is just whichever defender, if he jumps it up early in the first one, you just throw it to the second level, which is nice.
And I like the fact, Matt, that they're changing the launch spot for the quarterbacks, making it more difficult, obviously, on the defensive line, Beth, to really pin their ears back and go after Connor Cook. So both coaches, but John Gruden really does a terrific job changing the launch spot for these quarterbacks in the system.
Cook's getting to work behind that #1 offensive line, and the handoff goes to Doug Martin, the Northern California native who starred collegiately at Boise State. And then a couple of terrific years with the Bucks before coming over this year. Jalen Richard is going to join him in the backfield.
Rich, one of the guys that you were talking about earlier, Donald Penn, he's had a foot injury. He's on the right. They moved him from the left side to the right side. He's played a long time.
Big man.
And takes an adjustment. And that foot, his right foot, is the one that was hurt. And that's the one we got to keep our eyes on tonight, because he'll have to adjust.
Jalen Richard gets a nice couple of blocks from Bryant and Colton Miller to spring him free down the sideline. Little receiver screen, and Richard did the rest for 26 yards.
What I like about Jalen Richard is his ability to play in different spots in this offense. He can play in the backfield, you can put him in the slot, you can put him out wide. He's got very good hands, and he's terrific in the transition.
And he can make you miss.
Yep.
You get one of those guys out in space, they're tough.
He is emerging as a guy that may grab one of what could be, 5 running back positions on that final roster. Cook under duress, stepping up in the pocket, incomplete, intended for Jared Cook. Some more heat coming his way from Donald Penn's side of the line.
But a nice job. Let's watch Donald Penn.
Well, he's got his hands full. He's got Clay Matthews over there, one of the better pass rushers in the game. You see a little bit late out of the stance, Matt. He's getting used to this cadence. And I just think his movement's not quite where it needs to be. He's missed a lot of practice time. And I think his conditioning, and also the reps, the live reps. You know, practice so much different. You can't duplicate this game speed in a controlled practice setting. It's almost impossible.
Cook, the quick hitter to Jared Cook. And a pickup of about 4. Clinton Dix with the stop.
Well, Coach Gruden told us that he was very disappointed with the quarterback play last week with Connor Cook and E.J. Manuel. And one of these quarterbacks has to grab a hold of this backup position. And it really boils down to 2 things: the consistency with the production and just the trust factor. Gruden trusting that Connor Cook or E.J. Manuel is going to do the right thing in a critical situation. Playing the quarterback position is a lot about being a good decision maker and taking care of the football.
Derek Carr led them on the scoring drive, the first possession tonight, and now Cook hit as he released and goes down hard around midfield. Kentrell Bryce is the guy that hit him.
Yeah, but a good thing right there. So he knew he was going to get hit. He still stood in the pocket and delivered the throw.
You'll see Bryce, 29, come screaming. He's unblocked. You see Jalen Richard trying to get there late, but you mentioned, Matt, sitting in there with a tough jaw, knowing you're going to take a big hit.
Not easy.
And then you get screamed at on the sidelines by Jack Gruden.
Johnny Townsend, the rookie from Florida, will punt from his own 45-yard line. Will bound into the end zone off of a couple of bounces, 40 yards on that kick. 3-3 tonight, Raiders and Packers late in the first quarter. And make some lifelong memories in a Raiders suite. Hunley at quarterback. It's now Aaron Jones at tailback behind the fullback Aaron Ripkowski. Hunley steps up. Some pressure coming from Arden Key, who may have been held or taken down. There's a flag in the backfield.
Yeah, it's gonna go against Green Bay on Key. Key, here's one of the things you don't know about him.
Holding. Offense. Number 68.
So one of the great things about him,
Half the distance to the goal line. Still first down.
he can play on the left side or the right side. You can see him on the top side of your number 99. He's got great speed. He understands how to work half a man. So it's not like he's just running into the guy just blindly down the middle. He also can run on his inside half. By that I mean he's a guy who can get a good lean and he can run. So if he's on the left side or the right side, he can get on that inside and kind of get what they call getting skinny. He can kind of get small. He does it exceptionally well. He's raw yet, but he's got all the tools you want.
Man, I like the fact he can play either side. That's really important for a pass rusher.
Yep.
First and 20, incomplete on the breakup. Well done by Markel Lee, intended for Mercedes Lewis.
Lee's had himself a nice camp, Rich. And here's a guy who last year I think was a little bit too much. They asked a lot of him, and then he wasn't really finding his role. And I think he has right now. I think he's physical. I think he understands the defense. I think he knows how to play the game of football right now. I mean, the pro football, which is a completely different animal. I think he's doing well.
Second-year man out of Wake Forest, and Gruden specifically called out that class from a year ago. Hey, we need these guys to show us some production. Of course, the Raiders waived their second-round pick last year, Obi Melifonwu, this week, and brought in a veteran in the secondary in Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie.
Matt, I've heard you talk about this a number of times throughout the preseason. You mentioned tightening up the coverage. I've seen that not just with the corners, but with the linebackers and safety. I also think the communication across the board is better.
Yeah, that's a huge deal.
And the other thing that the defensive coordinator, Paul Gunther, talked about was the pressure inside with these young penetrators and defensive tackles. I mean, I think that's where they're so much better.
There's some movement again on the left side of that line, worrying about Arden Key.
Exactly right. And you can see it, Beth. You can see it. So
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. It's still third down.
you're going to watch, here he is, number 99, Arden Key. So he's got, his first two steps are really good. Now, he's taking a couple reps on that right side and the left side. And that left tackle, he understands he better get his depth quick. And that's what happens.
But you've got the draft picks out there. P.J. Hall's playing. You've got Maurice Hurst. You've got Arden Key. This is great to see. I mean, you look at this draft class, man, all three of these guys have a chance to be starters week one.
And then you add in a first-year player. That's a young front right there.
They'll run the draw here just to get out of some trouble, and it's P.J. Hall taking down Aaron Jones. A gain of 8, and it's 4th down.
Well played by that defensive front. Nicely done by Hall and Hurst and Arden Key, and also Brown, number 95.
All three guys getting not only great guidance from Paul Gunther, but the leadership of Bruce Irvin, too, handling these younger guys. Of course, Bruce went through some tough times in his younger days. Key, Hall, and Hurst all overcoming different things, from an illness to some off-the-field issues, and to just being a small college guy, and they have all made a mark so far in this preseason. 3 yards on the return there for Switzer. And one of the big new offseason additions, of course, is a former Green Bay Packer and wide receiver Jordy Nelson. Some of his new Raider teammates had some nice things to say about him.
When I was in Green Bay, a lot of the guys looked up to Jordy, and he played a huge, huge role in our offense, not just as a player, but as a person in the locker room.
He has such a presence in the receiver room, so any advice he has to offer, you know, I'm all ears, and he's always kind of speaking up on the small things, so I'm always listening.
The receiving touchdown leaders in the NFL the last 7 years, Nelson is right there with Dez, Gronk, and Jimmy G.
And he missed a year, Beth, with that knee surgery, you know, so he's, Well, he got excited, man. I thought there was a big tackle or something. I missed it.
The big tackle was by the security folks here.
You saw Josh Jones in the corner for the Packers. He got excited. He had a little bit of, look at him. He's still duking out there by himself. That's hilarious.
Matt gets excited when there's a big hit in the stadium. He doesn't care where it is. It could be in between the hash marks. It could be up in the stands on the side. Matt doesn't care.
It's happened in the press box.
Look, I'm thinking this security guy's got a shot.
Matt's breaking down the technique of the security guy.
Oh, it was nice.
He had his hips were good. He fired. He took a shot. Right.
Yep.
He wasn't hesitant.
Yeah, and good vision. Yeah, good vision.
He saw it coming.
That's the beauty of it. For the folks here in the stadium, he didn't get very far out of the field. So well done by the security crew here.
He lost his glasses for a second, but. Oh, that's great.
We need to put a number on him.
Inspired by that young defensive line.
He may have played some football back in the day, Matt. We're obviously not supposed to show that, but that was pretty good.
So Gruden does send the first-team offensive line.
They need some
back
reps
out
together.
there. Yeah.
They do.
Martavis Bryant and Seth Roberts, your receivers. This is Martin getting the call, spinning out across the 40.
What you like to see with this offensive line, particularly with those inside three, because that's the main group.
All pros.
Yeah, they're supposed to be the strength of your team. So move some people.
But this is what they need. These two guys. We know what we have here, but with the tackles, man, you've got a rookie at the left tackle position, a right tackle, and Donald Penn that played left tackle, and yet he hasn't played a lot in the preseason. So. That's what they have to figure out about these two tackles.
Under the direction of new O-line coach Tom Cable. Cook has the time, fires it down the middle, incomplete, intended for Bryant, and it was Josh Jackson who had the coverage.
Josh Jackson, I remember him a year ago from the University of Iowa. Good player, solid player.
Good coverage,
good protection. Yep. Nice timing, nice pocket for him there. He's able to find the guy and just got to make that completion.
Of course, those three in the middle, Kelechi Osemele, Rodney Hudson, and Gabe Jackson.
One of the better interior offensive lines in all of football. Give Reggie McKenzie a lot of credit for building that group when he first got here a couple years ago.
Cook.
There's
going to be a flag on the coverage. What would have been the final play of this first quarter.
Josh Jackson was grabbing.
Held down to Seth Roberts.
Unfortunately, there's a flag in the backfield, which usually means a hold.
So 2 flags down on this one. Double-digit penalties last week. They had penalty problems in the opener, did the Raiders?
There were 2 fouls on the play. Holding, illegal hands in the face. Offense, number 66. Pass interference, defense, number 27. Those penalties offset. This is the end of the first quarter.
So the offsetting penalties there will end the quarter. And a couple of field goals. The Raiders and the time of possession about even.
Boy, a great opportunity for Connor Cook to get out there with some of the ones. This offensive line, the backs, the receivers. I mean, these are valuable reps for a younger quarterback that doesn't get this opportunity very often.
And Coach Gruden wanted us to make sure we let Raider Nation know that was not a fumble in the game last week against the Rams. There was a malfunction, according to the league, in the review system. They could not get word from the review booth downstairs to the field that it should not have been a fumble. It should have been an incomplete
Let's
pass.
hope that doesn't happen during the regular season.
Yes, and of course Gruden could not.
John Gruden will blow a fuse.
Couldn't throw the challenge because it was a reviewable play.
Oh,
and Cook on the scramble and the slide for a first down into Packers territory.
Another flag.
And another flag. This one in the secondary.
Yeah. Good decision. You're right, Rich. That's when it starts to hurt a defense.
And that's not his first instinct. He's not a a running, scrambling quarterback, so that's good to see. That's been coached into
Illegal
him.
contact. Defense, number 23. 5-yard penalty is added to the end of the run. First down.
John Gruden used to always tell me, if you don't make 2 or 3 first downs every week with your legs, something's wrong. He sees it's not there. He feels the coverage, the pressure get to him, and he does a nice job pulling the ball down, running, and knowing where those first down chains are.
That was always one of your strengths.
I was too busy running for guys like you, man.
Martin,
that's a good run there.
Running off the right side behind 3 tight ends, and every official in the house dropping some laundry on that one. A 6-yard gain for Doug.
Not the biggest back, but he can and will run through arm tackles. He's got some power to him.
Out of St. Mary's High School in Stockton, California. You could have Lynch and Martin. Richard, who's been a good pass catcher for them the last couple of years. Keith Smith, they love the fullback, right? Gruden's going to have a fullback.
There were 2 fouls, both by the offense. Holding, number 87. That penalty's declined. Holding, number 61. That penalty's accepted. 10 yards, still first down.
And then perhaps the final spot. If Chris Warren can do a better job at pass protection, right, the rookie from Texas may grab a spot.
He's got to play better without the ball in his hands, and that means understanding the audibles. We talk about pass protection, Beth, that's critical. Route running, just the overall understanding of how to play the game when you're not actually the ball carrier, and that's important.
And I think it's important to understand out there when they start saying about pass protection, it's not only the physical part of doing the pass protection, it's the mental part, which is even more important.
Warren is the NFL's leading rusher so far in the preseason. Martin has some space off the edge, driving down inside the 40-yard line behind a nice block from Colton Miller.
Yeah, shockingly, there's no flags on the play, and so this one will actually count.
Good job by Colton Miller. You're right, Beth. He does a nice job sealing the edge and allowing Martin to bounce that run outside. And then you can get a feel for his speed and quickness in the open field.
Nice job by Seth Roberts. He's staying after the guy down the field also.
Like the fact that he's getting violent on the boundary.
Oh, that was Martavis Bryant. I'm sorry.
He's made some nice plays tonight trying to solidify that number 3 job. Cook down the seam, and it's intercepted at the 10-yard line by Jair Alexander. It appeared that Bryant had the defender beat, and Cook couldn't get it there to him. And Alexander with the nice recovery.
Well, he started to his left, he came back to his right, late with his eyes, and he needs to do a better job throwing this ball out in front of the wide receiver.
Three to 3 our score. Packers and Raiders early in this second quarter. The interception by Jair Alexander, the rookie out of Louisville. Let's see, guys, if he ever gets downed.
He wasn't down, Beth. That's why you're going to see Harris go try to jump in his ball right away.
It appeared he just dropped it.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Cook knows he has a safety sitting in the middle of the field. He's just got to push that ball out over the top more.
Conley is now in at cornerback along with Melvin. Jelly Ellis with a nice push up the middle. Forces the run to the outside. Jelly with that new contract, a 3-year deal. Started 14 games a year ago for the Raiders. There's Big Jelly, number 78 in the silver and black.
Yeah, solid from the inside out, and he's going to have to get some help from his rookie to the left of him. Arden Key lined up as that left defensive end. You don't guess when you're out there. It's a field game, and he has good feel. But that time he decided to jump back inside. And when he jumped inside, Ellis was able to come from inside out and make that play and sets up the second and long.
5 receivers here for Hundley on 2nd and 8. 4-man pressure. Hundley flushed, and the completion out to the 18-yard line. Jamon Moore, and a first down, Green Bay.
Yeah, so that's tough there. They're sitting in a zone the whole time, and once that guy breaks out of the pocket, you just got to kind of plaster guys, which means if there's anybody close to you, you kind of jump your coverage. And from a quarterback point of view, you see it, and so what's your thought process?
But I think he does a great job, Matt, moving around, sliding, extending the pocket, keeping the ball in a throwing position. That's one of the strengths, I think, when you really break down and study Brett Hundley. The athletic young quarterback.
First down, they'll run it with Aaron Jones. Of course, some big changes for Green Bay after they missed the playoffs last year for the first time in 9 years. So Mike McCarthy brings back an old offensive coordinator, Joe Philbin, a new defensive coordinator in Mike Pettin. And of course, no more Jordy Nelson, but they did add Jimmy Graham, one of the big offseason signings at tight end for this offense.
Also Mercedes Lewis. They love the tight end position. You got a quarterback that realizes the fastest way to the end zone is right down the middle of the field.
30 years of experience, in fact, amongst their top 3 tight ends. Hundley will run it out of bounds. Arden Key was in pursuit in the backfield.
Yeah, but better than that was the coverage down the field. They smelled it right away, and they jumped their coverage and followed them all the way through. There's no place to go with that thing. Sets up this 3rd down.
One of the things that these young defensive linemen have to figure out, Matt, is that you've got to be disciplined with your rush lanes when you play against a quarterback like Brett Hundley that's so mobile. You just give him a little bit of a crease, and he can find a way to make a play.
1 of 3 on 3rd down so far in the half for Green Bay.
Local quarterback, sometimes you're better off rushing 5.
They will rush 5, and they'll get to Hundley, and down he goes. Mohurst and Arden Key with some pressure. And a loss of 12.
Rich, I think, and the coverage down the field was tight. So you're not going to get out of it right away. But I like these young players. I mean, they play fast and they're relentless.
Look at the push.
That's what you love to see. I mean, they don't stop after their first move. They just keep on coming. Mohurst, guys are going to love Mohurst.
That kid's got a great motor. You get push up inside and you get some speed off the edge.
Dwayne Harris, a heel back on his own 30-yard line. And a couple moves to get him out across the 40.
There's some good pieces of the puzzle on that young defensive line.
57 yards on the punt, 10 on the return. Hurst and Hall and Key continue to show out.
Bridgestone Drive Guard tires are engineered to come through in the clutch. Let's go. And NFL coach John Gruden is going to help us prove it.
I got this. Okay, tires. If you take a hit, you got to get back up.
John.
You better kick it up a notch and get us home. There's always going to be nails on the road to victory, but you keep on going.
Actually, Drive Guard tires can take a puncture and drive up to 50 miles to safety.
50 miles?
Yep.
Guess my pep talk worked.
Sure.
We're back on the Raiders Broadcasting Network, tied at 3. This first half on defense has been about Arden Key. He has not stopped coming off the edge with his motor. This is more than a value draft pick. This was someone that Paul Gunther told me before the game they were counting on having a big game, and he has showed up big and has the whole sideline up on their feet. Big first half so far for Key.
Yeah, JT Paul Gunther said he's as polished a rookie as he's seen coming into the league out of LSU with that third-round pick, and is really still learning to study opponents a lot more now that he's got a lot more free time as a professional to focus on the football.
I thought it was good to see Warren Sapp at training camp.
Yeah.
When we were all up there together as a group, and just watching him work with those young defensive linemen. And he spent a lot of time working with their eyes, learning to play with their eyes and recognize formations and splits and alignments and the offensive line stance and sets. And so you train them with their eyes, and then you work on their feet and hands.
You know, there's such a huge difference between college and pro football.
Timeout.
It's not even close.
Oakland, they're first.
The biggest difference really is how much time you can put into all the details
30-second timeout
of the game.
It's all about preparation. And Matt, you talk about the details and how important that is, really breaking down your opponent, studying what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are, how you're going to counter, you know, somebody who's a guy like Mike Turgovac. He's talking about the relationship with the Packers. He was a great defensive line coach down there in Carolina with Julius Peppers and that group. And, yep, and it's done a great job with the Packers. This was a great hire. You know, you talk about the staff that they put together. We focus so much on the coordinators, but you look at the assistant coaches on this Raiders staff, and you've got some veteran coaches that have really made their mark around the National Football League, like Mike Turgovac.
He's up front. David Lippincott with the backers. Derek Ansley with the DBs as the offense continues to work. That's Jalen Richard.
This is a second unit, the second offensive line that Cook's in behind right now.
Well, third down was a real problem last week against the Rams. They were just 1 of 10, and it's a big reason why John Gruden referred to their offensive performance last week as embarrassing. Got to be able to convert third down.
Connor so far 4 of 8, 50 yards in this first half. And the drop out of the flat. Paul Butler started to turn with it. He would have had the first down and couldn't hold on, and it's 4th down.
It was well set up. You know, Martavis Bryant did a nice job of screening. He had an outside lane. You can see it right there. He's got to catch the ball. That's not going to help. They wanted to see a little bit more of Derek Carrier.
He's really going to help him. Yeah. What about versatility, a guy that can play anywhere, from a receiver in college.
Nice play.
And the fair catch and then interference downfield on Nick Nelson, and there is the late flag as he ran into Alexander.
A delayed flag there. They weren't sure about that one. They're going to talk about it. It's almost as if the returner ran into him as well. Certainly didn't go out of his way, and
he did it on the last punt, Rich, when it's going the other way. Oh no.
Yeah, you got to give him space.
He tried to avoid him.
There is no foul on the play.
Good call.
The result of the play is a touchback.
Good non-call.
Timeout.
Then after that, the ball bounded into the end zone for the touchback, a 54-yard punt for Johnny Townsend, and a 3-3 game here in the first half in Oakland.
Every achievement I have attained in profession. Every achievement I have attained in professional football is directly related to him and the opportunity he gave me. I owe a special regard and have a special respect for him in that area. Every achievement I have attained in professional football is directly related to him and the opportunity he gave me. I owe a special regard and have a special respect for him in that area.
Hall of Famer Ron Wolf, who lit the Al Davis Memorial Torch tonight. Started out for Al in 1963 as a scout with the Raiders, and a big part of the personnel department here in Oakland for a couple of Super Bowl teams and one in Green Bay. Hundley with a flag down will launch it out of play.
Ron Wolf was responsible for putting together a lot of the personnel in those early Raider teams.
Holding. Offense. Number 68. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
You know, back in the day, you know, Al Davis hired him, and he was there for a long time. You could see with the Raiders, and from the Raiders he went to Tampa Bay. Then he got canned and came back. And he was with the Raiders again for a nice long period of time. Then he went to the Jets from there, and then from the Jets he went to Green Bay and built that up there. And Ron has just been, always has had a special eye for talent, but also developing guys. And Reggie McKenzie's one of his disciples. He's always been good at that. 24 years with the Raiders in those 2 stints. He'll be with JT at halftime for an interview. And of course inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2015. Nicely done there by Arden Key. Again, relentless. He does not quit after the first move. They take it away, he keeps on coming. He got a late hit, he got a hit there on the quarterback. And eventually those things, they're going to add up. As the game goes on, you're going to know who that guy is all the time. He didn't play in the Detroit game with an ankle injury. Then played mostly on 3rd downs last week against the Rams. And a ton of work here, a ton of snaps for Key tonight. A burst up the middle out to the 25-yard line from Aaron Jones.
And what happens is you bring in all these rookie defensive linemen, and it gets the attention of the veteran players trying to make this team and stay in the league. And I think competition is great for everybody, but I think when you go out and draft 3 defensive linemen, I think it sends a message to that entire group. You've got to play well to earn a spot on this roster.
Keep your eyes on number 91 right there, Shanique Calhoun. He's got to show out pretty well here, too. He had a good game a week ago. Let's see if he can keep it going.
Calhoun's coming off the left edge. Hundley throwing it deep. Incomplete, intended for Jamon Moore. It was Rashawn Melvin with the coverage.
Melvin's had good coverage all preseason. This is the 3rd straight game. Now he's running with him stride for stride, and they have a little bit of hand fighting going on there at the end of that thing, but no harm, no foul right there. This is good coverage. Look at his eyes. Eyes are perfect. You look when he looks. That's really well done. And the other thing he did was he shortened that sideline.
Free agent pickup from Indianapolis, who specifically picked the Raiders because he liked what he saw developing here in Oakland. 47 yards on that punt, no return for Ryan Switzer, and Connor Cook will head back out there to direct the Raider offense.
You go back to Ron Wolf. You know, back in the day, their personnel group was just head coach John Madden, Al Davis, and him.
That was it.
And you had a couple of guys. You had a couple of scouts. That was it. It's not like it is today. Like you have 800 coaches around here. Back then you had like 10 guys, and that was your whole organization.
Chris Warren is now in at tailback, and he'll get the call. Chris coming off the 110-yard rushing game against the Rams. He's been averaging over 6 yards a carry so far through the first 2 preseason games.
Yeah, the numbers have been impressive, Beth. He played 85% of the offensive snaps last week, and you mentioned earlier he ranks first in the NFL through the first 2 weeks of the preseason. 196 rushing yards, 10 first downs, and a league-leading 6.32 per carry. So he's been very efficient, very productive, but he's got to get better without the ball in his hands. The blitz pickup and the responsibilities as it relates to protection of the passing game.
5 wides here for Connor Cook. Stepping up, he'll run with it. And a slide out to the 39-yard line. Be a couple of yards short of the first down marker, and a gain of 6.
It's okay. Did a nice job. You'd like to see him get that first, because I think he had a chance to get it, but regardless, you live for another down, sets up this 3rd down, but it also sends a message to that second level of defenders. Like, you've got to keep your eyes on the quarterback, because he's going to eat up some yards.
John Gruden's got a lot of calls on 3rd and 2, not as many on 3rd and 10 if he would have taken the sack. 2 for 5 so far on 3rd down tonight.
They're going to let Warren have a go at it, and he'll get the first down.
Nice feet.
Bullying his way out to the 49-yard line.
Yeah, that first little stutter step you saw. So good decision making. He's running with his eyes. That's what you like to see. Watch right from this. This is a great view right
He's
here.
going to. You see that, Matty? He starts heading downhill, and then you just see the natural bounce
right there. Perfect.
Yep. You'd love to see that with a bigger back. It's got a little bit of wiggle, as you'd say.
Picked up 10 yards there.
John should put a star next to that call.
Yeah.
Get back to that in the regular season.
It's a real luxury when you have a back like that that could do some damage. Wow.
Open across the middle, Keon Hatcher, and the catch down inside the 35-yard line.
Found a hold of his own quickly because he had protection, good protection. He sees it right away. They're both on the same page.
A really good throw, getting him in the transition of the run.
18 yards from Cook to Hatcher. And the Raiders on the move. They scored on their first possession, the field goal, after Derek Carr drove them down into the red zone. Give again is to Warren. May have gotten one. The Packers were ready for him. Reggie Gilbert with the stop.
It's amazing when you look at how good Warren has been in the preseason, and yet there's talk about whether or not he'll make this club. I think this goes to show you the depth and talent that they have at the running back position.
They're gonna have to cut a good player.
Andrew Washington has been limited with an injury. We haven't seen a whole lot of him in the preseason. Intended for Richard, just out of his reach.
One of the things that Connor Cook can do a better job of just setting his feet in the pocket. When he misses throws, just watch his feet here. Watch when he throws, he just fades away from that. Obviously, he's got some pressure coming, but I love to see him be able to step into throws a little bit more and trust the protection. That's tough when you've got someone screaming right down the barrel at you.
That was Kyler Fackrell.
Well, Jonathan Ware didn't do a very good job with his feet. He stepped in and shortened the corner. You get a short corner, you get a direct hit to the quarterback. So
Connor so far 5 of 11, 69 yards in the interception.
Another 3rd down here.
3rd and 9.
A taste of their own medicine. You see these double A's. You see that a lot from the Raider defense.
Couple guys coming. The Raiders pick it up. And he was looking for Keon Hatcher. Incomplete. It's 4th down. Jair Alexander had the coverage.
Got to make that throw.
Yeah. That's what you want to see consistently. Right there. That's a throw. So the receiver had the defender right where he wants him on his hip. It's up to you, the quarterback, to put that ball right at that stick, and you go get it.
That's a difference, Matt. You know, you look at 3 or 4 plays in a game, you've got to be able to make those throws in a tight spot, tight window.
Mike Nugent from 49 yards out, and it is no good. Missed it to the left, so he's hit from 32 and now no good from 49. And the drive stalls out for the Raiders, unable to put some points up on the board. 3:28 to go in this first half. And the Packers will continue with Brett Hundley at quarterback.
One thing that you're seeing from that Raider offense is just, really, you and I were talking about this afternoon, is just the kind of the lack of consistency at that quarterback spot. They've got to develop whoever that's going to be. He's got to be more consistent.
It's been a concern, there's no question about that.
Only Kendricks, he's got the first down for the Packers out across midfield. And a flag down at the end of the play. Marcus Gilchrist had the tackle. A gain of 11. Did Kendricks get the helmet down under the new helmet rule here when he crashed into Gilchrist?
Personal foul lowering the head to initiate contact. Defense, number 31, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
You know, that's one that they're going to look at, and I don't think you'll see that in the regular season. You get some more at the shoulder and the side of the helmet. It's not the crown of the helmet.
Nope. And so the guy who calls it's in the middle of the field. So from his vantage point, it looks like he's leading with his helmet. But if you see it like how we're seeing it, it's clearly not a lowering helmet to hit him with.
That's obviously been a point of emphasis throughout the preseason, and something they continue to look at, tweak.
I think it's tough on the officials to make that call.
Yeah, that did not seem to jive with the intent of the illegal use of the helmet rule.
You know, I had dinner last night prior to coming out here with Jeff Seaman, who's a line judge. And one of the things we talked about was this helmet rule. One of the things he said is he has to retrain his eyes as a line judge because he's looking at certain things. He's looking at the ball carriage. He's looking at the yards to gain. He's watching a bunch of different things. And he said he doesn't always see those type of plays. And so he said he's got to really change his vantage point and his view to be able to include those type of plays, and it's going to affect every official on the field.
Illegal use of the helmet new, the changes that we've talked about to the kickoff. Of course, the other big one is the clarification of the catch rule this year. Control the ball 2 feet down and making a football move. That'll change things. 2nd and 7 here. Hundley out of the gun. 2:30 to go in the half. Brett will step up and motor down inside the 30. Tripped up by Trayvon Hester. And a gain of 3.
It sets up third. So you're going to go with the tight coverage here. It'll be a man or a combination. I really haven't seen very many picks because this is a pick league.
And this will take us down to the 2-minute warning.
This is the 2-minute warning.
A 3rd and 4 coming up. The Packers on the drive. We are even at 3 apiece. Nation, and of course the cheese grater is out as well on the Raiders side. In a 3-3 game here, final 2 minutes of the first half. Packers are 1 for 5 on 3rd down. They've missed their last 4 chances. And a 3rd and 4 here. Hundley.
Good coverage again.
Rashawn Melvin, there he was, Matt.
I like this coverage. Nick Nelson and Rashawn Melvin working nice. They're trying to cross it inside so they can get them to bump off, but they played exceptionally well. Sets up this 4th down, which they're going to go for.
Well, it's good to see the corners playing well. We've been talking a lot about the biggest question mark for the preseason was how good and how deep would they be at the cornerback position, an area of weakness a season ago.
Single high.
Melvin and Connolly and Nelson are out there right now at the corner spots. Hundley incomplete. Hit as he threw it. And the Raiders had the coverage.
Who got there, Beth? I didn't see it. The Tank?
I believe it was Tank, yep.
Yeah, so it got disrupted that throw. The coverage was nice and tight. Shalik Calhoun on the backside, but here comes somebody right there. That was, yeah, Tank carried.
Yep. Free agent pickup from San Francisco.
He's another guy who's gonna have to play well. He's got to show him something here.
So the stop for the Raiders on 4th down. And they'll take over at their own 29.
A late flag for too many men on the field. They had Silverman was running out there late. The official caught it.
Too many men in the huddle offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Silberman will trot back on to replace David Sharp.
For communication, you talk about how important communication is. You run different players in and out there. And John letting the officials know he wasn't crazy about that particular call. They actually weren't in the huddle. They broke the huddle. They were walking to the line of scrimmage. But once you cross their numbers, you're considered an eligible player.
Richard with the catch to the outside. We'll get some of the yardage back for the Raiders.
It's great to have a back like Jalen Richard in the lineup. He can just do so much for you. He's a great inside runner. We know he's got the speed to get out on the edge, but I just like what he can do in terms of the passing game. He is dangerous out of the backfield. He is a mismatch for linebackers and safety types in the open field.
Offset again alongside Connor Cook.
Good protection again.
And another interception. A flag is down, but the Packers are taking it the other way. And the pick 6 for Josh Jackson. Flag is down in the secondary. As it stands, it's Cook's second INT, but all the Raiders are pointing in the other direction, thinking this is going against the Pack.
Prior to the interception, holding, defense, number 26, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Herb Waters whistled for the defensive holding.
Well, regardless, you can't make this throw. Connor Cook throws this behind the intended receiver, right into the waiting arms of Josh Jackson. You cannot make that throw. You've got to be able to use the sideline. Give Seth Roberts a chance to make a play on the boundary. You throw it behind him, you're just asking for trouble.
1st and 10, Raiders off the penalty, just outside the 30-yard line. Cook tried to dump it off to Richard. Fackrell again was the guy bringing the heat. Well, the importance, as you guys have been talking about, Richard in the pass game, both he and DeAndre Washington, you know, when Lynch caught fire, he was one of the best backs in the league the second half of the season. And so the carries were fewer and far between. So Jalen and DeAndre relied upon to make some plays on 3rd downs and through the air. And there may be only room for one of those guys this year. They've been together for the last 2 seasons for Oakland in the backfield.
You mentioned DeAndre Washington, Beth. Obviously, he's not playing tonight. Probably won't play next week against Seattle, nursing a knee injury. And it's just sometimes your best ability is your availability. If you can't play, it opens up the door and opportunities for other players like Jalen Richard.
Approaching the final minute of the first half. Hatcher just beyond his grasp. That was Clark putting Cook under duress.
Well, it's not easy. You got to sit in there, and boy, you got to be able to make that throw.
He's just off a tad.
That's all it takes, Matt.
Yeah,
you know, and
exactly.
That's the kind of precision that John Gruden's looking for at that position. It's a valuable position when you think about the number of starting quarterbacks that don't play 16 straight games.
Cook, after hitting 3 of his first 4 pass attempts, just 3 for his last 11. 36 yards on that punt by Townsend.
It's so hard to find a good backup quarterback, and then you get a place that has Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers sitting there together like
Joe Montana and Steve Young. I mean, it's just,
and the youngster just driving himself crazy because he knows he can play. And same with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but I know there's concern with this coaching staff. You know what you have right there in Derek Carr. He is a Pro Bowl caliber player, and he's tough, but you've got to be able to have another gunslinger, a guy that you can trust in a moment's notice. Like when Derek got hurt last year, the year before, you got to have a guy that can go in there and play at a high level and keep things rolling along.
They needed Cook 2 years ago. They needed E.J. Manuel last year after Derek suffered injuries. That was Calhoun providing some pressure for that Oakland D. We anticipate we'll probably see EJ here in the second half for the Raiders.
I think John's just looking for one of these quarterbacks to grab control of this position. Let's not make it a toss-up. Somebody clearly has to, win this battle, and I don't think that's happened through the first 3 games so far. And that's a concern, I'm sure, for that offensive staff.
Cook had some decent numbers against Detroit. Manuel, some pretty good numbers last week against the Rams. And that is a loose ball. Fidel Brown with the hit on the quarterback.
Fidel Brown coming off that left end spot. Yeah, Shalik Calhoun on the other side, but Brown just it was just power to the edge. You're gonna watch him. See, pick half a man, now beat it.
Ooh.
It's easier to beat half a man than a full man, and that's exactly what he does.
He's got him turned sideways.
The ball
He's walking
was
right back
forward under 2 minutes. Only the fumbling player can recover.
Well, that right tackle has no chance.
So we'll bring it back to the fumble spot. Oakland has called timeout. They're second. 30 seconds in length.
All those guys that Coach Gruden singled out that needed to show something have tonight with Tank and Calhoun and now
Please
Brown.
reset the game clock to 36 seconds. 36 on the game clock.
Second sack for the Raiders.
This is where you got a chance to be really good when you have depth and you've got fresh legs and bodies that you can roll through there, right, Matt?
Absolutely. I'm excited for this defensive line for the Raiders. You got Brown who's a young guy. You got Hurst who's a young guy. You got Hall who's a young guy. You got Key who's a young guy. And you got some guys right behind or are going to be starters probably that have good experience as well. You'll be able to roll guys in and out, and you should have fresh legs all the time.
3rd and 19. Here comes Brown again on Hundley. And on the screen pass to Buonyo.
Nice. Just relentless. That's what you love to see. They don't quit. They keep on coming.
Well, the right tackle's in trouble. He cannot block Brown.
That's Kyle Murphy.
Pass interference, offense, number 82. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Rich, let me tell you something. When defensive linemen know you got a fish in there, boy, there's a fight to see who can get over him.
Well, he's just walking him right back. I understand it's a screen, but he's got to be firmer there. And that's a problem. If you see that, you've got to do something to help the right tackle. Put a tight end over there, have the back chip. But if not, your quarterback's going to get worked over.
Fidel, the second-year man out of Ole Miss, making some plays. Switzer calling for the fair catch, and that's a costly one.
Went the other way.
Bounces down inside the 20-yard line. 61 yards on that punt from J.K. Scott. One of 3 punters selected in the draft this year, of course, including Johnny Townsend for the Raiders.
Said he lost it in the lights.
Go back to that defensive line thing. I remember we played the Raiders out here. I mean, we played the Packers out here, and they had a young rookie in there, Mandrich.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Mandrich.
Oh, Michigan State man.
Tony was
having a tough day.
Having a rough day. And Greg Townsend and Howie Long got into a fight
to see who was
going to play over him. Like, he's mine. No, he's not. I want him.
You mentioned that you find a fish, you go after him. You don't get that. You don't get those opportunities very often. I mean, this level. But when you have a guy that's struggling or he's hurt, it's just.
Tony turned into a good player, but in the beginning he was just trying to figure it out, and they knew it.
That's going to take care of the first half. 3-3 Raiders and Packers and stories about fishing. We got JT coming up with our halftime festivities. That will include a conversation with Hall of Famer Ron. And it was the kickers and it was the defense, really, that was the big story in this one. Beth Mullins along with Matt Millen, Rich Gannon. That defensive line that has shown us so much throughout the course of this preseason, doing it again tonight.
Well, they don't disappoint. And so Hurst and Hall, and you saw Arden Key on the outside. You saw Fidel Brown, 95. They were relentless. They just kept on coming, and they show signs of having a chance to be really, really good.
I think 2 things jump out to me through the first 3 preseason games. And I mentioned this prior to the start of the preseason. 2 areas where I think the Raiders will be most improved this year. is the play of their defense, and in particular defensive line, and their ability to run the football. And I think we've seen some of that tonight when you look at some runs by Doug Martin and Jalen Richard. I just think that's the area where you're going to see the most improvement. Their commitment to the running game and their ability to stop the run, Matt, and get pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, that'll be big. Then you know what? They've got to get consistency with the backup quarterback.
Halftime stats are brought to you by Nissan. Innovation that excites. The Raiders 3 of 8 on third downs. That defense held the Packers to just 1 of 7. 10 combined penalties for the two teams in that first half. Just a moment ago, JT with John Gruden.
Coach, let's talk about your defense, especially the pass rush with Arden Key.
Well, it's good to see. Obviously, we didn't get off to a very good start, but we picked it up as the first half unfolded. Neither offense playing very good.
Thank you, Coach. Beth, back to you.
Thank you very much, JT.
It drives him crazy.
He's not happy.
Listen, he's a head coach, but he's also the play caller, and you can tell, you can see the disappointment in John Gruden. It's unacceptable to be 30 minutes into a ball game and have just 3 points on the board, especially coming off of what was a really disappointing performance last week, Matt, offensively for the Raiders down in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and actually the protection, I think, has been pretty good. I think what he's really disappointed with has been, I think that first half, I don't think Connor Cook didn't have a very good showing.
They're just missing too many opportunities.
Yeah.
You don't get, in an NFL game, you average about 60, 65 plays in a game. You've got to make them all count. You can't say, oh, I played well in 55 snaps and I had 4 or 5 that were bad. That's not the way this game works, and there's just been too many inconsistent plays so far from the quarterbacks in the preseason.
Mike Nugent boots it away, and this is a returnable ball for the Packers. Ooh. And the ball is out. Big hit by the Raiders, knocked it loose, and then out of bounds it goes. The Packers will keep it.
Smart play by Jamon Moore.
Yeah.
Tapped that thing out of bounds.
This is Valdez Scantling who's going to get it. Whoop, right there. Popped out. I believe Dallin Levitt is the guy that hit him. Helmet on the football right there for the Raiders.
See how he just scoops it out of bounds? That's smart. Live for another down. Griff Whalen was right there to try to snatch that bad boy.
Yeah, he was.
Deshaun Kaiser is now the quarterback for the Packers, so they'll make the change at QB after we saw Brett Hundley throughout the first half. Joel Buonio gets the carry.
You mentioned the quarterback change, Beth, and Kaiser. He had a bad experience in Cleveland last year. He was 0-15 as a starter, wasn't ready to play as a rookie, and unfortunately, Matt, the team around him wasn't ready for a rookie quarterback, and that could be just as much of an issue as well.
Completely agree. It's just a tough situation to be in, but he weathered the storm.
Second-year man out of Notre Dame, traded to Green Bay, and instead the Browns went with the #1 overall pick Baker Mayfield in the draft this year. So Kaiser competing for the Packers.
Gets us to third down. There's Aaron Rodgers.
He's a Chico, California native, I believe. Pleasant Valley High School, and of course collegiately Cal Bears.
He's a Cal Bear.
At the age of 34, will try and come back from the collarbone injury.
He'll come back more than fine.
Flags flying. Finger pointing going on. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, by the way, is now in the secondary for the Raiders. Number 36 in the silver and black, picked up this week. The 10-year vet.
Right corner.
Where it looks the part, doesn't he? He's got those long arms.
Long.
Physical.
Can still run.
The most passes defended in the last decade in the NFL. And
they had a separate walkthrough just for him yesterday to get him ready and up to speed with this defense. You see him right down here.
Yeah, he's looking for help inside of that safety.
3rd and 12. Kaiser out of the end zone. Flags fly, and Kaiser goes down. Mario Edwards and Trayvon Hester got after him.
I was keeping my eyes on Rogers Cromartie, and he ran. He ran with that route perfectly. I mean, he had some Equanimous St. Brown, the rookie out of Notre Dame. He ran with him like it was his job.
There were 2 fouls on the play, both by the defense. Illegal hands, hands to the face, number 95. That penalty's declined. Personal foul, face mask, 97. That penalty is accepted, 15 yards, automatic first down.
They're going to get Mario Edwards for the face mask.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Yeah, you can see Brown get up, and there's the face mask on top of it. That's actually a helmet, not a face mask. Watch. On the rookie. This is, oh, yeah, little hand to the back just to let him know he's there.
Well, a costly penalty there for the Raiders because that was a 3rd and 12 play, and they got the sack. And instead, first down, Packers.
Defensive line has been dominating this offensive line all night long. Now, keep in mind the Pack.
Not their first
Not
unit.
their first group, even from the start. But the Raider defensive front playing well.
We're talking about Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. I think his willingness to play at a contract the Raiders could afford right now was important, and obviously the experience, great ball skills. He's in great shape. That's the other thing. You know, they did their due diligence to make sure he was ready to come in and compete and play.
Kaiser, down he goes, sacked by Shalik Calhoun. 3rd sack of the night for the Raiders.
Shalik Calhoun's had a good preseason game, preseason period. Watch him off the top. He'll be coming to the top of your screen to the right there. He beats that right tackle.
It's been a rough night for Kyle Murphy out there.
Yeah, he gets his hips turned, and you're not going to win that way.
He's got no leverage. Right now he's getting out of position. He's opening up the edge.
3rd and 19 here for the Pack.
That's why they got the tight end over here to help.
Exactly right.
They'll just go ahead and run it to the other side with Boigneau. Fidel Brown with the stop, and the Raiders will force the punt.
I like Brown. I think Brown's pretty good. I think Shalik Calhoun's had himself this is the best I've seen him in a preseason.
Yeah. Yep.
He's coming off the ball, and he's got something to him. Play with a little more power. He has all the skills. He's just got to put it together, and maybe this is the year.
Well, the Raider coaches are going to get what they want, and that's some tough decisions when they got to cut the roster down. There have been a lot of different guys up front making plays. Some good coverage there by Green Bay. Josh Jones with the tackle immediately on Ryan Switzer after the 48-yard punt. Raiders offense coming back out when we return.
This broadcast is copyrighted by NFL Productions for the private use of all. by NFL Productions for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
Back here in Oakland in a 3-3 game, 12:01 to go here in the third quarter. And the quarterback change for the Raiders as well. E.J. Manuel will now get a chance. Played a couple of games last year in midseason, now in his second year with the Raiders after 4 years in Buffalo. He started early in his career and now in a battle with Connor Cook to be the backup to Derek Carr. He was the #2 last year. The handoff here to Warren, and more flags flying around.
Holding, offense, number 81. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Boy, that's got to get cleaned up.
You better believe it.
He had 2 of them last week on perimeter runs his direction. And man on the line of scrimmage right there, and you just see he's got the hands inside, but I don't know. Do you see that? I mean, that looked like
that's not bad.
Like he was in pretty good position. He wasn't grabbing. In the wrong place at the wrong time, I suppose.
1st and 20 back at the 20. Manuel gets it out of his hands quickly. And the catch is made by Marcel Aitman at 6'4", the rookie out of Oklahoma State with the grab. And let's check in right now with JT.
Thank you, Beth. The art of John Gruden talking to these refs is amazing down here. He is chewing them out on bad calls. It kills the momentum of the game. This offense is trying to keep momentum throughout the night, flag after flag, and there's no one better than John Gruden talking to these refs and teaching them the right calls. Back to you.
Thank you, JT.
He'll let him have it, that's for sure.
Manuel felt the pressure behind him. He'll run for the first down.
Smart play. Smart play. It's not there. Pull it down and go.
Gain of 13 for EJ.
All these quarterbacks have done a good job working on the escapability. These are things they rep in practice with quarterback coach Brian Callahan, offensive coordinator Greg Olson. You see him do it with Derek Carr, making this a point of emphasis to make sure that they know that they can step up in the pocket, trust the protection, but when they see some daylight, they can take off.
Yeah, he knew the coverage was in man, so go ahead and take it.
This is Warren off the left side, and Chris rumbles forward for a gain of about 5. And getting back to what JT was talking about in the return of John Gruden, can he have the kind of success the second time around? You think of Pete Carroll, an 11-year hiatus from the NFL, came back to win a Super Bowl in Seattle. Dick Vermeil, 15 years away from coaching, came back to win a Super Bowl in St. Louis. Now John Gruden, 9 years, right, in the Monday Night Football booth, and a return to the sideline. And there's one of the guys that he brought with him, Brian Callahan.
Good look at Brian. His dad, Bill, was great offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, and former head coach of the Oakland Raiders. And Brian has worked with some good quarterbacks. Worked with Matthew Stafford the last couple of years. He worked with Peyton Manning as an assistant to the Denver Broncos.
Not too shabby.
Jamal Singleton, Frank Smith, Edgar Bennett, former
Ball
Packer.
start. Offense, number 69. 5-yard penalty. It remains third down.
Also members of this offensive coaching staff, and of course another former head coach, Tom Cable, with the O-line. That whistle going against Jalen Ware.
There's Greg Olson, offensive coordinator. Tom Cable right there. Lost 130 pounds. Whole other guy walking around out there someplace.
When John Gruden got back in coaching, everyone was calling, wanting to be a part of that staff and wanting to come out back here to Oakland and be a part of something special.
Ooh. 3rd and 11, the high snap, Manuel, and down he goes back at the 25-yard line. Ahmad Thomas got to him, and the bad snap from John Feliciano and a loss of 16.
Remember how they started the game last week? Now that's one he probably could have handled, but it was high and hot. Started the game last week with a high snap from Feliciano, and that one as well. And that's something that's got to get cleaned up by John Feliciano.
So some of the sloppy moments continuing for the Raiders. A punt here on 4th and 27 from Townsend. Takes a decent bounce for the Raiders, and they'll down it at the 24. 51 yards on that punt. 8:21 to go here in the third. 3s on the board. Packers and Raiders.
You want to bring the heat? Prove it. With carbs to help fuel muscles. And electrolytes to help replace what you lose in sweat. Studied, tested, proven. Nothing beats Gatorade.
We're back on the Raiders television network. We're tied at 3 at the Coliseum. Jordy Nelson joins us. A lot of talk this week leading up to the game about your emotions, seeing your old teammates. How was it?
It was great. It was exciting. Some of those guys I haven't seen for a while, especially if you look at the athletic trainers, the weight room staff, the equipment guys, the guys that are back behind the scenes grinding day in and day out, making sure everything's perfect for us and spoiling us like crazy in Green Bay. It was great to see those guys. Some of the players I've talked to, recently, but those are the guys that you really miss, and it did a lot for us.
What impact has John Gruden had on you at camp now that you broke camp and you're here on the sidelines?
It's been great. His energy that he brings day in and day out, if it's in the meetings or in the practice field, his knowledge of the offense, understanding situations, matchups, breaking down coverages and stuff like that. It's been great, and it's really, I think, allowed us to, pick up our pace and get up on the same page together as an offense with, the short time we've had together.
Former MVP Rich Gannon is up in the booth. Rich?
Well, Jordy, you spent your first 10 seasons in the same system in Green Bay. How difficult was it to pick up John Gruden's version of this offense?
It wasn't too bad. The routes and the concepts are all the same, just different verbiage. And so I tried my best to delete what I knew in Green Bay for verbiage-wise and just let it kind of be natural for me to learn it this way, because I didn't want to have to overthink on what things were. So I just tried to delete everything from the last 10 years and kind of start fresh, and I picked it up pretty quick.
Jordy, you've been around some pretty good receiving cores. How does this one stack up to some of the ones you've been around?
It's good. It's very similar. Obviously, we saw what Amari can do, and he did it to begin the game tonight. So we're just looking for some other guys to step up and be consistent in what they're doing. And that's where I think you make the difference. When you're consistent day in and day out, game in and game out, if it's in the classroom or on the practice field, that's how you become confident, and that's how the team becomes confident in you and you get your playing time.
Jordy, you're a smart guy. You played 10 years with Aaron Rodgers, and then when you decide to change teams, you go to a team that's got another Pro Bowl quarterback and Derek Carr. Is it you or your agent that's making all these great decisions?
I think it's the receivers making the quarterbacks good, if you ask me.
There you go.
No, I mean, that played a huge role in coming out here. Obviously, as a receiver, everyone knows you have to have someone to be able to throw you the ball. So that played a big role. When I met Derek, when I came out on my visit, we spent some time together. I was able to lean on Devontae Adams, who I played 4 years with, who played with Derek in college, and then even James Jones, who was here in Oakland for a year. So they knew him extremely well. So I leaned on those guys to get some inside information and see what they thought, and I have a lot of respect for the way they see the game, and that was very beneficial for me.
All right, well, thank you very much, Jordy. We appreciate the time.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
One of the new Raiders, the free agent pickup on a 2-year deal from Green Bay, Jordy Nelson. Ooh. It's 3rd and 7, and the Raider defense coming again. Nicholas Morrow with the 4th sack of the night.
There's your double-A gap again. Now Paul Gunther brought a little bit of heat right there.
Loves it.
See him up inside. He and Kabinda. He gets through.
That's so hard. It really stresses your communication system. The back, he's got to get up there and make a difficult block. The line's not sure who's coming and who's dropping.
See if we get a look at Griff Whalen here, and he'll make the fair catch at his own 34-yard line and a 36-yard punt. Under 6 to go here in the third. Morrow with the sack. The Raider defense showing up tonight. Controlled the action thus far. And for Raider Nation, E.J. Manuel back out there under center.
We'll see him throw the ball a little bit here in the second half.
Start out with Warren on the ground, and another penalty flag as the Packer defense stretched it out. Greer Martini is the guy that made the stop. Of course,
holding penalties on these perimeter runs.
Yeah, they're going to get Juracek.
Holding. Offense. Number 81. 10-yard penalty.
Brown again.
Still first down.
Second time tonight. And the 15th holding call on Oakland in the first 3 preseason games.
That's a good way to get cut.
Manuel stepping up, and the ball gets popped loose. EJ chose not to slide, and a hit jarred the ball loose, and the Packers have it. And that's the second game in a row Manuel has fumbled. Raven Green knocked it out.
This is poor ball carriage. Just watch when he pulls it down. Watch how this ball's moving around and doesn't do a good enough job putting it away high and tight. And it gets knocked out. You're going to see the safety come in here and put his forearm right on the football. And talk about ball security equals job security in the National Football League.
It was recovered by Greer Martini. So an interception tonight for Cook, a fumble tonight for Manuel, and the short field here for Deshaun Kaiser. The screen play to Boigneau, and a first down, takes a lick at the 25-yard line. Trayvon Hester, but they'll move the chains.
Big hit. Come from inside out. That's good hustle. Pringle does a nice job of closing it down to make him go back inside. Sets up this first down.
Gets wrapped up at the 22-yard line by Shakir Soto. Each side has only penetrated the red zone once tonight. And here are the Packers trying to knock on that door and get some points up off the turnover. Mike McCarthy now in his 13th season, and the rare losing season a year ago for the Pack. Of course, half of that was without Aaron Rodgers. And Kaiser forced under pressure to just throw it into the dirt. Dallin Levitt leading the charge.
They're trying to throw that screen door out the backside to the left. And
they got pressure quickly.
Yeah, they're trying to run the screen over here, but it just, see the offensive line. And
yeah, Levitt got in there quick.
39 from the 23.
Mario Edwards right there, nowhere to go, sets up this third down, 3rd and long.
3 for 9 tonight for Green Bay on 3rd down.
See if they can get more pressure.
No rush 4, and the pass is caught for a first down to the 10-yard line. Emmanuel Byrd for 13 yards.
Well, there's good protection, and he was able to get inside position on Mauger in front of the safety. So Kaiser does a nice job putting the ball right where it needs to be.
First and goal from the 10 for Green Bay. Kaiser rifles it down inside the 5 and caught at the 3. It's Bird again.
Well, you saw that one coming right from the beginning. Safety is sitting way off the football. That's Levitt, and he's singled up man-to-man on the outside. That's a gimme. As soon as he came to the line of scrimmage, you could see where that one was going.
Took a while to develop, though. I mean, he saw it coming, man, just late to get out of his break.
Yeah.
His back pedal, I should say.
Here he is again. Lined up man-to-man again.
Might be where they throw it.
They're going to bring some pressure, yep. Better help himself and go get his hands on it.
They're going that way. Incomplete. Levitt had the coverage that time on Bird, who has the size advantage.
You'll take that matchup anytime.
With coverage.
Only 5'10".
Yeah.
Third and goal from the 3.
Not his strength.
So now it's 3rd and goal from the 3. The undrafted free agent out of Utah State.
Looks like they're in man.
Kaiser to the back corner. Cannot connect with Valdez-Scantling.
Nice coverage there by Nick Nelson. I think he's had a good preseason.
You know, every time we do a preseason game, Matt, we mention his name 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I mean, he's around the football. He can play inside. John Gruden said he's got a chance to be a really good slot or nickel corner for them, playing inside in the slot. Got really good ball skills. That's the one thing that's jumped out to me when I studied Nick Nelson.
They'll go for it on 4th down.
Tighten the coverage. Watch this pick right down here in the bottom of your screen.
Timeout, Green Bay.
Oakland.
No, Oakland takes it. First time out for the Raiders. They were running guys onto the field late right there, and Gruden will take the timeout. And we'll take it with him. A 4th down coming up on the other side.
The Oilers fired back to lead
4th and goal from the 3-yard line for Green Bay. With McCarthy and Gruden looking on from the sidelines.
Watching the top side. They have his safety lined up in that Equanimous St. Brown right there. Let's see what happens there.
Kaiser, they'll run it up the middle. Touchdown, Green Bay. Joel Buonio.
Got some flags here. It looks like that will come
down
back.
At the line of scrimmage. They had a 4th down play taken away earlier tonight, and they were also denied on a 4th down play.
There were 2 fouls on the play, both by the offense. Holding, number 55, that penalty is declined. Personal foul, chop block, offense, number 55. That penalty is accepted. 15 yards, still 4th down.
So both those penalties on Dylan Day. And that'll set them all the way back out to the 18-yard line. And here comes the kicker, Mason Crosby.
Number 2, Mason Crosby.
Yeah, see that right guard working on Trayvon Hester right there.
Now you can't have one blocking high and one going low for the knees.
Crosby good earlier from 42 yards. This will be a 36-yard field goal for the lead. And it's good. So Green Bay scores off of the turnover to take the 6-3 lead after the fumble by E.J. Manuel.
But that's a win for the defense right there.
It was a good stop.
Yep, it was.
You know, you look at, we've been talking a lot about the struggles at the quarterback position, really for both teams. I mean, I think the Packers trying to figure things out with Brett Hundley and Deshaun Kaiser. We talked a lot about Connor Cook and obviously E.J. Manuel. But you look at these two teams, and they've got 2 of the better quarterbacks in all of football. And obviously, Aaron Rodgers has had an incredible career so far. In fact, he's got the highest career passer rating in the history of the NFL. And he's done it behind an often porous offensive line. And you look at Derek Carr, we mentioned his struggles with 4 different play callers in his first 5 seasons, and yet he's been to the Pro Bowl a couple times. So both these offenses look a lot better and a lot different with Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers under center.
Aaron Rodgers, I think he's at the top of the heap. He does stuff as well as anybody I've seen.
He plays so fast, Matt, from under center in the gun. We talk about arm talent. He's off the charts. I think where he doesn't get enough credit, and I think one of the strengths of his game is from the waist down. He's at the quickest feet. His ability to extend plays, you know, these non-rhythm throws that he makes so easy. And he's a gifted player who really works at his craft.
Manuel.
This is an example of making an easy throw, Beth, look difficult, and that's the problem. I mean, you know, it doesn't get any easier than that. This is day 1 football. You drop back 5 steps, you put your foot in the ground, you throw the ball to the back on the wide route, and you see the frustration there from offensive coordinator Greg Olson. I mean, these are things they rep every day in practice.
A rookie starter when he entered the league at Buffalo, then was limited his other 3 years there. Back up here for the Raiders. Chris Warren will get the call. Greer Martini with the stop. 6 yards there for Chris. Shown himself to be a physical back, good with yards after contact. Already well known for that huge hit on Jared Davis in the joint practice earlier this preseason with Detroit.
Well, he almost decapitated him.
Depleted him for sure. Slant fight for possession, and Marcel Aitman's going to win it.
That's really well done by Aitman. That is some strong hands and a guy who catches. This guy catches a lot of balls that are contested.
Wow, what a terrific catch, Matt. You're right. Great concentration, right?
That defense was good. That's as good a defense you're going to play right there. Hands inside. Nice done by Aitman. Nicely.
10-yard pickup there for the Raiders on a first down. One off a little hesitation. We'll get that out to the 45-yard line.
There's got to be a sense of urgency with a lot of the players that are still in the field. The final roster reduction is just a little over a week away. And so, some of these players are running out of time. And you talk about making a play. You need to make a couple plays if you're playing this late in the contest with a week to go to determine whether or not you're going to be an Oakland Raider September 1st.
The Seahawks game next Thursday, and then the cut-down day next Saturday. So a week from tomorrow. Manuel taken down around the 48-yard line. Vince Beagle. Picked up a yard there.
You got the sense when we sat down with John Gruden last week, he said there's about 20 players that they're looking at to determine whether or not they're part of the 53 roster. You got the sense when we visited with him today, it wasn't 20.
Yeah.
Maybe that number was closer to 10. We're starting to narrow this search each and every day.
That'll do it for the third quarter here in Oakland.
This is the end of the third quarter.
And a Crosby field goal right now, the difference, a 6-3 Green Bay lead as we head to the fourth. There's a good memory.
That was a good night right here against a pretty good Tennessee football team, a good defense, and just wore them down.
Those are great games, aren't they?
Yeah, they're fun to think about. Unfortunately, we didn't finish it. We had a chance to play the following week, and we didn't get it done. Unfortunately, that's the one that kind of sticks in your craw. Hard to get there. It's people think, I played 17 years. I went to 1 Super Bowl. Matt, you played 4 Super Bowls, right?
Rich, it's hard to win, period.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a win. You got to enjoy every win.
I always tell people it's hard to make a first down, let alone win in this business, and that's why you work so hard during the week.
Oh, nice.
Manuel with the hook up to Griff Whalen, and a nice cut to get back to the middle of the field and down to the 30-yard line, a 24-yard pickup.
Good protection here. That's the first thing you're going to see.
Watch the feet. The feet tell you everything you want to know. When he's in rhythm, he sets his feet. He can be a very accurate passer from the pocket. Every time I look at Griff Whalen, as a kid, it just seems to be in the right place at the right time, and a knack for making plays in the middle of the field.
And hand it off to Warren. He's spun around by Beagle. They've gotten back to the 30. Second down coming up.
Vince Beagle.
Vince Beagle out of Wisconsin. Good outside backer. plays hard. It's fun to watch. He had a really good career at Wisconsin. It was a lot of fun to watch those games.
Got some issues at linebacker spot right now with Jake Ryan out with the ACL, and Roman Burks, who appeared to have gotten hurt pregame tonight. Completion there for 7 yards from Manuel to Aitman.
Guy looks like he's in rhythm. You know, you see his confidence is there. He's getting the ball out on time. He's not taking the extra hitch. Anticipation looks good. And as a result, the accuracy's there.
So if you juxtapose that throw with Connor Cook's throw earlier to the sticks, it's not even close. Ball's out on time. It's right where it's supposed to be. Give the guy a chance.
I really like Aitman. This guy makes a lot of plays.
Looking for a third down conversion, and they'll get it. Chris Warren tumbling down inside the 15-yard line and a 10-yard run.
You can hear it in the crowd when he gets rolling. He's got a little bit of room, boy. There's going to be a collision there's going to be a collision somewhere on the field.
Well, I like how he's carrying the football, Matt. You talk about high and tight, 5 points of pressure.
The Raiders are in the Toyota red zone. Toyota, let's go places. Just their second trip of the night. Warren now 10 carries, 42 yards. Another decent evening on the ground. They'll give it to him again. Forced to cut back. Good push that time by Montravius Adams, the second-year man out of Auburn.
2nd and 9 from the 12.
That'll bring up 2nd and 9 from the 12-yard line for the Raiders. I can still get that first down just inside the 3-yard line.
Let's go to Aitman on the top side.
11th play of this drive for the Raiders. Looking Aitman's way. There he is on the slant, broken up.
You called it, Matt.
Defended well by Josh Hawkins.
Big target in that part of the field.
Yeah.
Just runs a slant route. Tries to cross his face. You've got to keep running, though. You see him just hesitate there a little bit.
You're right.
You've got to make sure you cross the face of that corner. Hang the quarterback out to dry.
Third and 9 now for Oakland. Aitman wide left. Roberts is in the slot
This is
left.
where he wants to throw it.
Looking left. Roberts just off his fingertips. And it's 4th down.
You can see that one coming. EJ looked over there. He changed the route. He was pretty adamant about that. He got the combination he wanted. He just missed the throw in the back corner of the end zone. This one's close. Ooh. Just out of the grip of Seth Roberts.
So Mike Nugent 1 for 2 tonight, and this a 30-yard attempt. And he's got it to tie it up for Oakland. 6-6 here in the 4th quarter. Raiders and Packers on the Raiders Television Network. 13 plays, 64 yards to get the field goal up on the board from Mike Nugent. The drive of the game brought to you by Mazda. Feel alive. 5 minutes and 44 seconds, the time off the clock for the Raiders to even it up at 6 apiece. 11:47 to go. The field goal drives engineered by Derek Carr and EJ Manuel tonight. And that quest to find the second quarterback continues. It was not the best first half for Connor Cook. Threw an interception. And the Packers will have it out at their own 25-yard line.
1st and 10 for Green Bay from their 25.
Of course, the question now for the coaching staff, do we still keep 3 guys? Do we pick one of the other two at this juncture?
Yeah, I think a lot has to do with some other positions as well. Yeah. That maybe it's something on the other side of the ball. How many running backs do we keep? What's the situation at wide receiver? You know, how many corners do we keep? And not only that, but of those players that we do keep, what are their roles on special teams? That's going to be really important as well.
Flag down on the handoff for the Packers.
Nice play by Kabinda inside out. Nice read. I don't know if there's
holding. Offense, number 70. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
I don't know what the numbers are going to be for Jason Kabinda. It doesn't look like it, but he may be a practice squad guy because the guy's always around the football.
Had 6 tackles, led the team last week, Matt. You're right.
One of those guys who sees the things in front of him pretty well, diagnoses it pretty well. Yeah, he shows some promise.
Twice the leading tackler with Penn State. Often described as a take-charge guy from his days in Happy Valley. And there is Jason around the ball making the play.
Getting a little excited. That's good. There's Jason Kabinda.
Guys just have a feel for the game. You know, man, at that position, they just see things, as you mentioned, and they function well in space. Kabinda is one of those players.
5 receivers here for the Packers. Kaiser with time, and the first down across the middle to Jamon Moore. Levitt had the coverage, a gain of 16 for Green Bay.
36-yard line, gain 16. First and 10 for the Packers. On their 36.
Now out at their own 36-yard line. To the ground. Zine Victor is the guy that got into the backfield, and then Kabinda able to clean it up, taking down Bronson Hill.
We're going to talk about linebackers. It's key and diagnose. And so you have to be able to read things and see things. And every movement that the offense makes is another clue of where the ball is going. And he'll get better. He'll get better as the years go on. You get it down to a science. I used to say the first step eliminates, the second step declares. And when you get it down to 2 steps, you're doing a lot of good reading.
That may have been Brown who jumped the gun, although he's pointing at the Packers.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
They all do that, don't they, Beth? When they jump off sides and they get in the neutral zone, they start pointing to the tackle or the, you know what I mean, like it's somebody else's fault.
He's had himself a decent game here tonight, coming off the ball.
Yeah, the get-off has been very noticeable when you look at the defensive line.
When you start to see that, then you have to start to be aware of screens, draws. That's what they'll get.
Take the edge off.
Yep, you better believe it.
On 2nd and 5. And the pass broken up again. That's Pringle. Rayshon had the coverage on Valdez-Scantling.
Good tight coverage again.
Or the local guy, the Hayward native.
3rd and 5 from the 41.
And that'll set up Green Bay 3rd down and 5.
See if they don't go the man combination here.
They have struggled on 3rd downs tonight, just 2 for 11. Almost intercepted. Pringle had it, couldn't hold on. Intended for Bronson Hill on the wheel route.
We did everything right except catch the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
I always say that the reason why those guys are playing defense is because they can't catch.
They're former receivers.
Yeah.
But he does everything right except, make the squeeze it, right, Matt? He makes score.
Absolutely. That's a great read. He had a double read off that thing. He took the inside guy. He thought they had that on the outside, but it didn't work. Newfangled. I want to say newfangled potato chip, Pringle, but I can't. I shouldn't say it.
26 yards. Live press conferences, exclusive experiences, and real-time push alerts. Download it today in the App Store and Google Play. And now you can stay in touch with the Raiders anytime, anywhere. Just over a week away from cut-down day. And the roster of 53 Raiders that will head into the regular season opener on Monday Night Football against the LA Rams. E.J. Manuel finds Warren out of the backfield. Chris able to keep his balance for a few more yards. And let's go down to the field now with JT.
Thank you, Beth. We'll check in with Justin Ellis. First off, it's about you. You look great shape. What about the young players and the fact that you're being a mentor to so many high draft picks coming in?
I mean, they're making it pretty easy for me. I think the guys working hard. They're doing everything we ask of them. And, that's all we can ask for.
Paul Gunther's defense, describe it to us. Is it more complex? It's really opened you up to make more plays.
It's not complex at all. It's pretty open. It's straightforward what he wants to do. And I think it allow a lot of guys to fly around.
Raider legend Matt Millen up in the booth. Matt?
Jelly, take a look at these young guys you got working inside, especially the two rooks next to you. It's got to be a fun time to be with it because you can teach them, and then you can also watch them make the mistakes and do the things that you've gone through. So, tell me a little bit about those young players you have with you.
I think we got a lot of good young players in the room right now. I think, like I told, like I said earlier, I think they look good. They want to be good, so that's always good. And they working hard and they listen to everything we say. So, it's always good to see a young guy, just put his head down and work and listen to everything the older guys say and the coaches.
You got Hurst, you got Hall, you also got Key on the outside. And then I also like Brown. I think that nucleus there that's as good a young group as I've seen in a long time.
I'm excited about it. I mean, every day we've been seeing it since OTAs, but it's good that everybody else get to see it. And I hope that it only get better from here in the regular season.
Thanks a lot, Jelly. Appreciate it.
All right, thank y'all.
Jelly Ellis, one of the anchors up front for the Raider defense. E.J. Manuel going to air it out. Incomplete. Keon Hatcher trying to go up for it. And it was Josh Hawkins with the coverage.
If you remember at training camp, they had that red line on the boundary, and you've got to be able to give their quarterback some room. Look at that. There's very little margin for error. And so what the receiver has to do is get back on that line and give E.J. Manuel a chance to make a play down the field, and that's one of the corrections that Hatcher will hear tomorrow in that meeting room.
So the corner, the sideline's his best friend. It's just another defender, so you want to get him as close to the sideline as possible.
Manuel, this time able to hook up with Hatcher, and a first down inside the 40-yard line.
Number 14,
but a flag is down in the backfield as well. 15 yards on that hookup. And Manuel acting like the Raiders are going to get more here.
It's a good route by Hatcher.
And now the disbelief.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 99. That 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the run. First down.
It's going to be on Looney.
I think he comes in and hits him low. Maybe not.
Please put 6:34 on the clock. 6:34.
That's a bad call.
Yeah, I did not see that. But that'll set up the Raiders now at the Green Bay 25-yard line.
Well, nobody wants a tie in the preseason, that's for sure.
Especially not us.
Manuel gets a nice block to buy a little time. Yurchek with the catch. Down to the 19-yard line. and a gain of 7. I think that was James Butler there, number 40, with a nice block. Boom, right there.
And you see
up end to rush.
Jurczyk, he's gonna bluff the end man on the line of scrimmage to set up the back to be able to make that cut block, and then he gets out to the flat. Little spider 2 wide banana that you hear so much about on Monday Night Football. That's it right there.
Big hole for Butler down inside the 10-yard line.
Nice hole off that left side.
Picks up 9. Oh, we have we saw the Monday Night Football crew in the house tonight scouting the Raiders. Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, Joe Tessitore.
We're coming by to check out our work.
They were. I love the Raiders-Rams matchup. First and goal. To the end zone, Aikman. Flag down on the dirt.
It's going to go against Green Bay.
It's going to be on Brown.
Pass interference. Defense, number 41. The foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball is placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
It's actually going to be on Pipkins. So an automatic first and goal here for the Raiders.
Now you probably want to hear or see Chris Warren. Aikman is a guy who doesn't have great speed, so he's used to being contested all the time.
Number 79 is eligible.
He's
79.
6 O-linemen, a couple of tight ends, a fullback, and here comes Warren. Touchdown Raiders! Behind that extra O-lineman, Denver Kirkland, and into the end zone.
That's just power. Oh, he had a free shot.
Right through Rollins.
Yeah, Rollins is the free hitter. And so he freely hit him.
He turned that one down, Matty. He didn't want any parts of Chris Warren in the hole.
That young man is developing a reputation for laying the lumber. Extra point is good. An 8-play scoring drive covering 68 yards. And the Raiders have the lead here in the 4th, 13-6, 5:07 to go. The battering ram finds the end zone.
Matt, you know what he is? He's a team chiropractor. He comes in there and he adjusts people's backs and necks, doesn't he? I mean, that's what he does, right? He's like a chiropractor. You know, you want a free adjustment? Just stand on the goal line, I'll run you over.
Undrafted out of Texas, where he spent last year as an H-back and a tight end, following in the footsteps of his dad, who played in the league.
Had a chance right there.
That was Luani who missed him on the flyby, but Jurczyk got the tackle. Here's the play of the game, brought to you by Xfinity, and it is the chiropractor.
Bam!
Good adjustment.
That'll be $60.
Yep,
And
exactly.
table will travel.
Yeah. Little adjustment of the L5 and L6,
Yeah,
I think.
Exactly. L5S1.
The pass is caught by Emmanuel Bird. We've been calling his name quite a bit.
You know, some defensive coordinators, but some defensive coordinators, they have so much volume. You know, you look at their play sheet, sometimes it's too much. You know, I look at Paul Gunther. We talked to Ellis a little while ago. Sometimes less is more. Go out and play fast. We don't need 60 pressures and 17 different fronts. And let's just play a handful of coverages, but let's do it well and let's play fast.
Almost picked again. Luani was able to jump in front.
Good, nice read on that.
They have had a couple of opportunities. That one was just a Terrific athletic play, the full extension there.
Watch the break. See it? Well done.
Read the eyes of the quarterback the whole way.
Second-year man out of Washington State, the 7th-round pick a year ago. In a crowded defensive backfield right now for the Raiders. They're gonna have some options. The deep ball caught, and a flag down out at midfield. Jamon Moore, and a 28-yard gain.
That was a really good hit, Matt, because he took his helmet out of the play. You know, he didn't lead with the helmet. I thought that was excellent.
That was Quincy Moget, rookie out of Georgia.
There were 2 fouls on the play, both by the defense. Holding, defense, number 56. That penalty's declined.
Wasn't 56.
Unnecessary roughness, contact to a defenseless receiver. Defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So that's not the helmet rule.
Watch this. Watch him.
39 had the personal foul.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand that. Watch, this is textbook. He lowers his shoulder, okay, and he hits him right in the side, right at his shoulder.
What do they call it? Unnecessary roughness?
Yeah, I don't know what else you could do. He's called a hit on a defenseless receiver.
Yeah.
That's pathetic.
That was a bad call. I mean, how else is he supposed to get him on the ground?
And the first foul was not against Derek Johnson.
He's not in the game.
He hadn't been in there. The Packers from the Raider 35. Trying to respond with a late score of their own and a good push down inside the 30. James Kauser was the low man there defensively for the Raiders. Rashawn Daniels, the rookie out of Iowa, picked up 8.
John Gruden didn't like that call. You can see him still giving it to the official.
He's right. That's a terrible call.
2nd and 2. Pressure coming from the backers. Kabinda along with Kauser and Azim Victor. So some young guys making plays.
Gabe Wright did a nice job on the inside. You see him going across the face. He's the guy who makes the whole play. He forces it back inside. And then Kabinda's right there and the rest of his guys. But Wright did it. That was a really well played by Wright. Let's see what they got here on 3rd down.
They need to get to the 25 for the first. Kaiser off the pump and the dive forward, he'll get it.
Jason Kabinda getting in on another tackle. This is one that you want at least to have, give it a chance to not get the first. Good awareness.
Keep the drive alive for Green Bay. Clock down under 2.5 to go. They've still got all 3 of their timeouts plus the 2-minute warning. Screen pass incomplete. It hit the offensive lineman who was pulling to block.
Well,
that was Austin
open.
Davis.
Yeah, he was wide open. I mean, why not?
That was Gabe Wright again that pushed him backwards, messed with the timing.
And the timing was off, and Austin Davis got caught in the wash. He couldn't get out in front of the screen.
He knew it too. He's trying to duck to get out of the way.
Second and 10. Play action. Flag down behind the scrambling Kaiser. Taken down inside the 20. And it looks like that's going to be on Adam Pankey for the hold.
He's grabbing Calhoun.
Holding. offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Well, these tackles, Matt, have had a tough time handling the edge pressure from the Raider defensive ends.
About 12 Packer penalties tonight for over 100 yards.
A number of them, Beth, have been holding penalties.
2:02 to go.
Let's see if Shalik Calhoun can't get a nice rush here. There he is.
Kaiser fires, caught the diving catch down to the 23-yard line, and it's Adonis Jennings, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning.
This is the 2-minute warning.
Packers pick up 11. They're at the 24-yard line and a 13-6 Raider lead.
Your favorite player jerseys, apparel, headwear, and more. The Raider Image has you covered. Visit RaiderImage.com for store locations or shop online at RaiderImage.com. Beth?
Thank you, JT. 1:58 to play, and the Raiders in front, 13-6. On a 3rd and 10 for the Packers. Kaiser incomplete.
Wow.
And it's 4th down.
Kaiser had himself a really good jump off that edge.
I think the receiver fooled him, Matt. I thought he felt like the receiver was going to continue to run, and the receiver at the last moment put the brakes on.
See, Kaiser got there pretty darn quick, though.
So he said, "Just show me your eyes," which means you're going to keep running.
4th and 10. Pressure coming, and down goes Kaiser. Trayvon Hester with the initial push. And the Raiders take over with their 5th sack of the night.
Well, it starts with the pressure off the right side, and that forces the quarterback to step right up into the pocket, Matt.
Yeah, it's Shalik Calhoun, Hester's right there, Brown's right there. I mean, he just collapsed the pocket. That's just well done. And the reason they can do that, coverage downfield was pretty darn tight. There was no place to go quickly with the ball, so we had to hold on to it.
Paul Gunther's done a terrific job in a short period of time getting this group to really play well and fun to watch. Their growth and development going back to minicamp and the first 3 preseason games.
The Raiders will run it with Chris Warren, and the Packers will call a timeout
Green
here.
Bay, they're first. 30 seconds.
With 1:43 to go, they'll have 2 remaining.
Yeah, look at the job that Paul Gunther does. And, you know, he can and he does coach all the position groups, defensive line, linebacker, secondary. He wants it done a certain way. He's a terrific communicator. He's a wonderful teacher. I think it was interesting when he took the job, he spent really the first month coaching the coaches.
Yeah.
He went in and made sure that we all spoke the same language, and then once he taught it to the coaches, he had the coaches turn around and teach it to him. Make sure that the messaging was consistent.
Warren pushes his way out to about the 40. It'll be 3rd and 1. And the Packers will call their 2nd timeout here. And the players mixing it up a little bit.
Look at both head coaches. And
2nd charge timeout, Green Bay. 30 seconds in length.
I had the good fortune of playing for both of them. Mike McCarthy was my quarterback coach for 4 years in Kansas City. Obviously, John was my head coach for 3 years. And I can promise you, I think both of them, it's a lot to do to be the head coach, but also the play caller. I think both of them are probably 2 of the best play callers in the business. I think Sean Payton would probably be in that mix as well, but they also do a terrific job with their hands on the quarterback. They coach that position. They're in that meeting room. They have a lot of intimate conversations, and I think that relationship is so important between the quarterback and the head coach, but also between the quarterback and the play caller. It just so happens in both situations that the play caller is the head coach.
Big third down conversion here for the Raiders. 3rd and 1. Warren. He doesn't get it. Packers stuff him, and it's 4th down. Connor Shee leading the charge.
3rd and final timeout. Green Bay. 30 seconds.
Line of scrimmage did not move.
Nope. So the Packers have stopped the clock here with 1:28 still to go.
Got to punt it.
Yep, they're going to get the ball back here with some time. So a little pressure on the rookie punter, Johnny Townsend.
So it's interesting. So you look out in the special teams and who's down there. Arden Key.
Yeah.
On the punt team.
Fifth punt of the night for Townsend. Alexander standing back at his own 15-yard line for Green Bay.
We got off a good one.
Oh, nice punt.
Good punt. And Alexander will get wrapped up immediately, get it out to the 20-yard line, and another penalty flag. Isaac Whitney had the coverage. Did he get a little too close?
He got to the side of him.
Yeah.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 41. Half of this into the goal line. 1st down, Green Bay.
45 yards on the punt, just 4 on the return. The coverage was there by Whitney. So the Packers will have 1:20 to go with no timeouts left.
This is all zone. Keep everything in front of you. Keep them in bounds.
Kaiser will work out of the gun on 1st down. Nine-yard gain there to Smith.
Ryan Smith on the reception.
They'll hustle to the line. Clock continues to roll. 2nd and short. Kaiser dumps it off underneath for the 1st down. Azim Victor with a good hit on Buono, but Joel hangs on. Under a minute to go, under 50 seconds now to go. Kaiser will spike to stop the clock.
You need a chunk, you need a big play here.
Yeah.
You know, these little check downs, these underneath throws aren't going to get it done. The tackling's been better so far this preseason as well.
I just like the way the movement of the defense. I think the movement's been great.
Kaiser, he'll drop off another one. Out to the 35-yard line. Clock ticking away. Down to half a minute to go. Fumble there on the snap.
Tried to clock it, but he didn't have a grip on it.
No, and that won't stop the clock.
Exactly. No, sure won't. That was a fumble.
No timeouts.
He's got to push it down the field here.
Eludes the pressure. Kaiser. Incomplete. And that'll do it. Time expires in the Coliseum, and the Raiders have a win over the Packers 13-6 on a very solid showing by the defense.
Yeah, and I think that's your big takeaway. I think you see the depth of this defensive front. I think you see the tenacity of this defensive front. I think it's a much improved defense, and you still want to be able to get that offense on track. I don't think it's there yet.
I think part of the problem, Matt, is they haven't really played together a lot.
Yeah,
you know,
you're right.
You got the offensive line got a couple series, but just one with Derek Carr. You're not seeing Marshawn Lynch. The receivers, your starting receivers, you're not seeing a lot of Cooper and Nelson, and it's hard when you're rolling so many different bodies through there. But there's no question I'm sure John Gruden's a little bit concerned because it's been 2 straight weeks now where they